So there's no one way to do strategic planning. We've developed a methodology over a long period of time. Some things that I present today you may not agree with, and that's fine. It'd be great to have a conversation about that. So I'm not pretending that this is the one way to do it. This is the way we've managed to find breakthrough and cut through for teams quite quickly to get that clarity that they need and then therefore activate the strategy in a meaningful way. So I did this with the team in Canberra yesterday. I used the same slide. I borrowed it from this presentation today. Organizations confuse mission or purpose with their vision. And so I use the term mission and purpose interchangeably, just so we don't get confused. And this is actually from an online course that we developed last year around strategy development and implementation. So on the screen there, you can see there's 10 statements, and I'll just give you a moment to read through those. In a moment, I'm going to ask you which column is the vision column and which column is the mission column. All right, so if you think it's the vision, the column one is the vision column, just put one. If you think it's column two, put two in the chat. One for vision is the first column. Two if you think it's the second column. All right, I've got a 50-50 split so far. Oh no, two's starting to come ahead. Very good. When I asked this question yesterday, we had about a 50-50 split as well, or that feels two is kind of the winner here today, potentially, by a nose. So let's have a look. So the vision statement is column one, uh, which is pretty interesting, right? So why is this table here and why are we having this conversation? If we're not clear about our purpose and what that actually means, and clear about the vision and the distinction between those two, then it can create a lack of clarity. So let's have a look. For us, the vision is kind of future based, right? It's future orientated versus mission, which is present day. And so you'll see some statements which are purported to be vision statements, which are supposed to have a future focus. And most of them are things that the organization should be doing from its existence right through time. And so getting those two things is how getting those two things clear is one of the ways we help teams get really clear on that, right? So let's have a look at our examples again. So you can see the difference here. So the Microsoft to help people and businesses throughout the world realize their full potential to empower every person. They're both purpose statements in my mind. Now, to be fair to them, they may have internal vision statements which they don't want to publicize, but you can see the differences here. Patagonia, we're in business to save our home planet. You can measure that; it has a destination, even though it's very high level. So you can start to see some of the differences here and why sometimes people get quite confused. One of my favorite exercises is putting up 10 or 15 vision and mission statements, one asking people which is which, and also what sector do you think they come from? Almost never, because they're so generic, can people actually say, oh yeah, that comes from, fast moving consumer goods, or that comes from health, for example. So this is I'm kind of starting with the end and bringing that forward, if you like. This would be an example of, this is a made up company called Greenflow Technologies, which we used in our online course. But you can see the mission statement for me is really clear. When would that ever change? It probably won't, unless the organization fundamentally changes its reason for being. Like Nokia used to make rubber gumboots and then they made mobile phones. That's a fundamental shift in their reason for being. Then the vision statement has a directionality, and you can see we kind of separate both what might be an internal and external statement, if you like. So the internal one has a little bit more about commercial sensitivities, for example, or what might be really driving them internally. And so there's the vision statement and the by 2030 in this example that we would then utilize in the strat planning piece.